Stop playing checkers while the world is playing a geometric game of life and death.
A state functions through a relentless priority for expansion and survival. Every move is a calculation designed to secure its own center. In ancient Indian statecraft, this central node is called the Vijigishu, the aspirant. Its programming for survival is immediately constrained by the physical reality of its borders. Because states require the same land, water, and security, proximity forces them into competition. Shared borders create an immediate struggle over limited geographic bandwidth. This friction defines the immediate neighbor as the Ari, the natural enemy. This hostility is a structural consequence of geography. Two powers occupying the same perimeter will eventually collide over their shared interests. Within this framework, diplomacy with a bordering power is a temporary measure. The geography itself makes long-term security with a neighbor an unstable variable. Survival in statecraft requires a move past idealism. It demands a systemic countermeasure to balance the pressure of the border. If hostility is baked into the border, the central node must find a way to disperse that pressure or be crushed by it. The solution relies on a spatial theorem. The leverage required to neutralize a neighbor is usually found just beyond them. This requires locating the mitra, or the ally. By observing the grid, we see that the state on the far side of your enemy faces the exact same border friction you do. They become your operational partner. The central node bypasses the immediate conflict to hardwire a connection with the neighbor's neighbor. The Ari is now caught in a two-front containment grid. Its ability to expand is neutralized by the simultaneous pressure from both sides. In this system, geography provides both the primary threat and the specific coordinates required to neutralize it. The system is symmetrical. The Ari follows the same logic, seeking leverage to break the containment. To counter your alliance, the enemy aligns with Node 4, the enemy's ally, encircling your partner. This triggers a chain reaction. The central node aligns with Node 5, while mirroring nodes illuminate on the rear axis, creating a line of alternating dots across the map. This creates a closed-loop environment where every state is defined by intersecting hostilities, or vigraha, and strategic alliances, or samyukta. The map becomes an interlocking 10-vector system where every move is checked by a predictable counterweight. Mapping the grid is only the first step. A state must then decide how to act to maximize its own power. This is the role of the Shadgunya matrix, 6 operational policies that dictate behavior based on an opponent's specific strength. If the data shows the Ari has superior military mass, the policy shifts to Sandhi. You secure a treaty to avoid immediate destruction. Paired with Dividibaba, the dual policy, you maintain peace on one front to consolidate strength and prepare for war on another. When an enemy becomes vulnerable or loses external support, the protocol changes. The state executes yana, direct mobilization for conquest. If open combat is too risky, the matrix allows for silent war. This involves maintaining a public facade of peace while using secret agents to assassinate leaders, sow internal discord, and spread disinformation to dismantle the enemy's core from within. In this matrix, the only constant is profit and power. The state toggles between these 6 policies based entirely on survival interest. Beyond the 10-node axis of neighbors and allies, 2 anomalies exist that can override the system. Node 11, the Madhima, or mediator, geographically touches both the central node and primary enemy. With more mass than both combatants combined, it dictates their conflict. Node 12, the Udasina, is the neutral apex power, geographically detached yet possessing overwhelming systemic influence. Aligning with either of these outliers can instantly collapse a localized balance of power. Strategic dominance requires looking past immediate border skirmishes to influence massive powers outside the primary friction zone. The logic of the Rajamandala remains visible in the geopolitical alignments of 2025. In the Indo-Pacific, India and China manage one of the world's longest disputed borders. These high-altitude supply lines in the Galwan Valley and Doklam are evidence of the structural friction Chanakya described. Military standoffs and economic competition are the natural results of this proximity. To balance this relationship, India has deepened ties with powers that are geographically distant but strategically aligned against its neighbor. Japan, Australia, and the United States act as the modern Mitra nodes. These distant rivals share a strategic interest in containing Beijing's rise, mirroring the ancient formula of seeking an ally beyond the enemy's border. The formation of the Quad reflects this spatial logic, providing a multi-front architecture to manage a localized border threat. Similar patterns are currently active across other global theaters. The Abraham Accords reflect a strategic shift where Gulf states have aligned with Israel, long a regional rival, to secure their position against Iran. In Eastern Europe, Russia views the expansion of NATO toward its borders as a direct proximity threat. Ukraine has become the physical battleground where this geographic friction is being contested. Russia's reaction follows the ancient code. It has turned to China and Iran, the distant adversaries of NATO, to balance the pressure. Digital and economic realms have now eliminated physical buffers, turning geographically distant states like the US and China into strategic neighbors, competing for global influence. While ideologies and leaders change, the geographic constraints on a state's security are permanent. In this system, your neighbor remains a structural rival. The horizon is your leverage, and power is a function of spatial and